Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. What we're about to explore is priceless. We're talking about the top 10 places you absolutely have to visit in Canada. Canada, you know, that giant, beautiful country up north? Yeah, it's way more than just maple syrup and hockey, even though those are pretty awesome too. We're talking breathtaking mountains, turquoise lakes that look like they're straight out of a dream, cities that buzz with life, and enough natural wonders to make your head spin. Whether you're planning a family vacation, a solo backpacking trip, or just want some serious travel inspiration, this list has got you covered. We're going coast to coast, from the soaring peaks of the Rockies to the charming streets of Quebec City. So buckle up, get ready for some serious wanderlust, and let's jump right into the first incredible destination on our list. First up, we're heading straight into the heart of the Canadian Rockies, to a place that's a giant postcard come to life, Banff National Park. I'm talking towering, snow-capped peaks, glaciers that sparkle under the sun, and lakes so blue, you'll think someone spilled a can of paint. Seriously, Banff is on another level of gorgeous. Visualize this. You're hiking through a forest that smells like pine needles and fresh air, sunlight filtering through the trees, and then bam! You emerge into this valley with a lake so turquoise it practically glows. That's Lake Louise, and it's just one of the many mind-blowing sights in Banff. And speaking of mind-blowing, we gotta talk about the mountains. We're talking jagged peaks that seem to pierce the sky, some of them over 10,000 feet high. Climb to the top and you'll feel like you can see the whole world. Don't worry, you can take a gondola up if hiking's not your thing. Whether you're an adrenaline junkie who loves to hike, climb, and kayak, or you'd rather chill by a lake and soak up the scenery, Banff has something for everyone. This place will leave you speechless. Now Banff isn't just about stunning views, it's also about adventure. You can hop in a kayak and paddle across Moraine Lake, its blue waters reflecting the sky like a mirror. Or how about a whitewater rafting trip down the rapids? Talk about an adrenaline rush, and if you're feeling really brave, you can try ice climbing on a glacier. Yeah, you heard that right. Strap on some crampons, grab an ice axe, and get ready to feel like a real-life mountain climber. Don't worry, there are experienced guides who'll show you the ropes. But hey, maybe you're more into chilling and soaking up the scenery. No problem. Banff has got you covered there too. Take a scenic drive along the Icefields Parkway, one of the most beautiful roads in the world. Picture this. You're cruising along, windows down, wind in your hair, surrounded by towering mountains, glaciers, and waterfalls cascading down the cliffs. It's the kind of drive that makes you want to pull over every 5 minutes to take pictures. Next up, we're heading to a place that needs no introduction. You've seen it in movies and pictures, now experience it for yourself. Niagara Falls. This isn't just any waterfall, it's 3 massive waterfalls dumping 6 million cubic feet of water every minute. A wall of water so powerful it creates a mist seen from miles away. You can feel the ground shaking beneath your feet as tons of water crash down. Talk about nature's power. The best way to experience it? Get up close and personal. Hop on a boat tour into the mist. You'll wear a poncho because you'll get soaked, but it's worth it. The roar is deafening. The mist swirls around you, and you'll feel like you're in a natural wonder, an experience you'll never forget. Niagara Falls isn't just about the waterfalls, although they're definitely the main attraction. The whole area is like a giant playground with something for everyone. You can zip line across the Niagara Gorge, getting a bird's-eye view of the falls. Or, how about taking a helicopter ride over the falls? Imagine soaring above the mist, seeing the water cascading down below you, and getting a panoramic view of the whole Niagara region. Talk about an unforgettable experience. If you're a history buff, you can check out the historic forts that played a role in the War of 1812. Imagine the battles that took place here, the soldiers who fought bravely, and the history that unfolded on these very grounds. And if you're looking for some nightlife, Niagara Falls has got you covered there too. There are casinos, nightclubs, and restaurants galore. You can try your luck at the roulette wheel, dance the night away, or enjoy a delicious meal with a view of the illuminated falls. Alright guys, we're moving on to the next place on our list of the top 10 places you have to visit in Canada. And let me tell you, this one is huge, literally. Jasper National Park, home to some of the most insane glaciers you'll ever see in your life. We're talking massive walls of ice, some of them bigger than skyscrapers, just glistening in the sun. You can actually walk on some of them, hike past them, even take a helicopter ride over them for some crazy views. The pictures don't even do it justice. And hey, if you're lucky, you might even spot some wildlife hanging out around the ice. Jasper is known for its incredible diversity of animals. We're talking bears, elk, wolves. Maybe you'll even see a lynx if you're lucky. It's like stepping into a real-life nature documentary out here. So, if you're an animal lover and an adrenaline junkie all in one, Jasper National Park needs to be at the top of your travel bucket list. But seriously, don't forget your camera and maybe pack an extra pair of pants in case you run into a bear. Now let's talk about the scenic drives in Jasper because guys, these are next level. You cruise along these winding roads surrounded by towering mountains, pristine lakes, and forests that seem to go on forever. One drive you absolutely can't miss is the Icefields Parkway. It's over 140 miles of pure scenic beauty, connecting Jasper to Banff National Park. You'll see waterfalls cascading down cliffs, glaciers creeping down mountainsides, and maybe even some mountain goats chilling on the side of the road. But here's a little secret, guys. Sometimes the best places are the ones most people miss. So, while you're in Jasper, make sure to ask the locals about some hidden gems. You never know what kind of epic waterfalls, hot springs, or secret hiking trails you might discover. Can you see yourself soaking in a natural hot spring surrounded by nothing but mountains and wilderness? That's the kind of experience you can only find in a place like Jasper National Park. Next up, we're heading to the west coast of Canada, to a city that's a love letter to both nature and city life, Vancouver. Here's the scene. You wake up in a bustling city surrounded by towering skyscrapers and vibrant streets, but then, just a stone's throw away, you've got mountains, beaches, and forest. That's Vancouver for you guys. Spend your morning exploring Granville Island's market, grabbing fresh seafood, then bike along Stanley Park's seawall, enjoying ocean and city views. Stanley Park is massive, over 1,000 acres of forest, beaches, and even a zoo. Keep an eye out for those famous totem poles. Hike in the morning and then sip cocktails on a rooftop patio in the evening. Vancouver isn't just about pretty views and outdoor adventures. This city is a melting pot of cultures, and that means one thing: incredible food. We're talking about some of the best Asian food you'll find outside of Asia, from steaming bowls of ramen to fresh sushi that will blow your mind. And hey, don't even get me started on the food trucks. Vancouver's food truck scene is next level, with everything from gourmet grilled cheese to crazy good tacos. You could seriously spend a week just eating your way through the city. But the cultural experience in Vancouver goes beyond just food. Check out Gastown, the city's oldest neighborhood, with its cobblestone streets, Victorian architecture, and maybe even a ghost story or two. Or head to the Museum of Anthropology to learn about the First Nations people and their incredible art and history. Vancouver is a city that will surprise you at every turn. It's got this cool, laid-back vibe, but it's also bursting with energy and creativity. After a visit to Vancouver, you'll be ready to pack your bags and move there. Okay guys, ready to be transported to Europe without needing a passport? That's right, we're heading to Quebec City, the only walled city in North America. And let me tell you, this place is straight out of a fairy tale. It's got cobblestone streets, charming cafes with tables spilling out onto the sidewalks, and stunning European architecture that'll make you feel like you stepped back in time. It's no wonder Quebec City is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And hey, while we're on the subject of fairy tales, you can't go to Quebec City without visiting the iconic Fairmont-le-Château Frontenac. This grand hotel looks like a real-life castle towering over the city. Some people say it's the most photographed hotel in the world, and honestly, I believe it. But the magic of Quebec City doesn't stop there. Wander through the Quartier Petit Champlain, the oldest commercial district in North America, and get lost in its maze of narrow streets, boutiques, and art galleries. You're guaranteed to find some unique souvenirs to take home. Let's talk history because Quebec City is overflowing with it. This city has seen it all, from battles between empires to the birth of a nation. You can practically feel the history beneath your feet as you walk these streets. Make sure to visit the Citadel of Quebec, a star-shaped fortress that's still an active military garrison today. You can watch the changing of the guard ceremony, complete with kilts and bagpipes, and maybe even catch a glimpse of the regimental goat. All this sightseeing makes me hungry, so let's talk about the food. Quebec City's culinary scene is a delicious blend of French and Canadian influences. Make sure to try poutine, Quebec's most famous dish crispy fries, Squeaky cheese curds and rich gravy, it's the ultimate comfort food. But the real heart of Quebec City lies in its people and their vibrant culture. Even if you don't speak French, don't worry. The locals are incredibly welcoming and happy to share their city with you. Just be prepared for a warm bonjour. All right, guys, next up on our Canadian adventure is Prince Edward Island, or PEI as the cool kids call it. This place is like straight out of a storybook, but with way better food. We're talking miles and miles of beaches with the reddest sand you've ever seen. Seriously, you gotta see this to believe it. It's like someone took a giant paintbrush and just went to town. And the water? Crystal clear, especially compared to that murky stuff I saw living near the Gulf of Mexico. You could spend a week just hopping from beach to beach and never get bored. Speaking of not getting bored, PEI is also home to some pretty epic sandcastle competitions. We're talking professional level stuff here. People go all out. I'm talking giant dragons, castles, and who knows what else. And if you're lucky enough to be there during a competition, you might even get to help build one. Just try not to knock it over before the judges see it, all right? Not that I would know anything about that. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Isn't Prince Edward Island where that Anne of Green Gables girl is from? And you would be absolutely right. For real though, even if you aren't into classic literature, the Anne of Green Gables house is super cool to visit. They've got the whole farm set up like it's straight out of the book, and it's pretty awesome to see it all come to life. Plus, they make a mean raspberry pie in the gift shop, and I can't resist a good pie. But PEI's got way more to offer than just literary locations. The seafood here is next level good. We're talking fresh lobster, juicy oysters, the kind of stuff that would make anyone drool. And if you're a fan of lighthouses, PEI has got you covered. They're practically everywhere you look. You could have a whole separate vacation just taking pictures of all the different lighthouses. The next stop on our Canadian tour, Toronto. This place is like the New York City of Canada, but with friendlier people and way better poutine. And speaking of things that are way up high, you can't go to Toronto without visiting the CN Tower. This thing is seriously massive, like over 1,800 feet tall. You can take an elevator all the way to the top and get a view of the entire city. They even have a glass floor up there so you can look straight down. I'm afraid of heights, so I get a little freaked just thinking about it. But I've heard the view is totally worth it. And if you're feeling really brave, you can even try the edge walk. It's like a tightrope walk around the outside of the tower, but don't worry, you're attached to a harness the whole time. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but you know, you do you. One of the coolest things about Toronto is how diverse it is. There are so many different neighborhoods to explore, each with its own unique vibe. You've got Kensington Market, which is like a giant flea market with tons of vintage clothes, cool art, and delicious food from all over the world. Then there's Queen Street West, which is the place to be if you're into trendy boutiques, art galleries, and hipster coffee shops. And if you're looking for something a little more upscale, Yorkville is where it's at. They've got all the designer stores, fancy restaurants, and maybe even a celebrity sighting or two. You never know who you'll run into. And of course, no trip to Toronto would be complete without catching a Raptors game. These guys are legends, and the atmosphere at Scotiabank Arena is electric. Even if you're not a huge basketball fan, you'll have a blast. All right, adventure seekers, this one's for you. We're heading to Whistler, the ultimate playground for anyone who loves the great outdoors. And when I say great outdoors, I'm talking about snow-capped mountains, crystal clear lakes, and enough fresh air to make you forget what pollution even smells like. Whistler is known for having some of the best skiing and snowboarding in the world. Seriously, the slopes here are epic. They've got over 8,000 acres of terrain, so whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, there's something for everyone. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can even try heli-skiing. That's where a helicopter drops you off at the top of a remote mountain, and you get to ski or snowboard all the way down. Now that's what I call extreme. But even if hurtling down a mountain at top speed isn't your thing, there's still plenty to do in Whistler. You can go ice skating, snowshoeing, or even just build a snowman. Hey, it's the simple things in life, right? Now you might think Whistler is just a winter wonderland, and while it definitely crushes it in the winter months, this place is amazing year-round. In the summer, the snow melts and makes way for some seriously epic hiking and mountain biking trails. We're talking hundreds of miles of trails winding through forests, past waterfalls, and up to breathtaking views. Just make sure you bring your bear spray, just in case. And if you're an adrenaline junkie, you gotta try ziplining in Whistler. They've got some of the longest and fastest zip lines in the world, and you soar through the air surrounded by the most incredible mountain scenery. It's like flying, but without the TSA and the crying babies. And after a long day of exploring, what better way to unwind than with a dip in a hot spring? That's right, Whistler has natural hot springs where you can relax and soak your muscles. Plus, they say the mineral-rich water is good for your skin, so, it's practically a spa day. Alright guys, we're heading to the capital of Canada, Ottawa. This place is packed with history and cool things to see. First up, we gotta check out Parliament Hill. It's like the heart of Canadian politics, and the buildings look like they're straight out of a movie. Seriously, Gothic architecture, a huge peace tower, and tons of history. You can even watch the changing of the guard ceremony, which is pretty awesome. They do this whole big thing with a marching band and everything. It's like a free show right in front of the Parliament buildings. And hey, while you're there, check out the Centennial Flame. It's this big old flame that's been burning ever since 1967 to celebrate Canada's 100th birthday. They say it represents the unity of all Canadians. Pretty cool, right? Plus, you can explore the surrounding area. There are tons of statues of important Canadian figures and even a cool spot called the Byward Market nearby. You won't want to miss this place. Now let's talk about the Rideau Canal. This thing is over 200 kilometers long and connects Ottawa to Kingston. In the summer, you can take a boat tour or even rent a kayak or paddle boat. Talk about a unique way to see the city. But the coolest part? In the winter, the canal freezes over and turns into the world's largest skating rink. That's right, you can literally skate for miles right through the heart of the city. How insane is that? And if museums are your thing, Ottawa has you covered. You've got the Canadian War Museum, the Canadian Museum of History, the National Gallery of Canada, and a whole bunch more. Seriously, you could spend days exploring all the museums here. So yeah, Ottawa's definitely worth a visit. It's got history, culture, and even a giant ice skating rink. What more could you ask for? Get ready to have your mind blown, because we're heading to Gros Morne National Park in Newfoundland. This place is like something out of a sci-fi movie. Seriously, you won't believe the landscapes. First up, you gotta see the tablelands. These are these massive flat-topped mountains that are actually a piece of the Earth's mantle that got pushed up millions of years ago. It's like stepping foot on another planet. And the hiking here is off the charts. You can hike to the top of Gros Morne Mountain, the highest peak in eastern Canada, or explore the Western Brook Pond, a freshwater fjord carved out by glaciers. Imagine that view. Don't forget your camera, because you're going to want to capture every single moment in this incredible place. Gros Morne is a photographer's dream come true. Speaking of fjords, Gros Morne has some of the most stunning fjords in the world. You can take a boat tour through Western Brook Pond and be surrounded by towering cliffs and cascading waterfalls. It's like stepping back in time. And keep your eyes peeled for wildlife. Gros Morne is home to moose, caribou, black bears, whales, and tons of bird species. You might even spot an iceberg or two if you're lucky. And don't even get me started on the coastal towns. Places like Rocky Harbor and Norris Point are full of charm, with colorful houses, friendly locals, and delicious seafood restaurants. Gros Morne National Park is an absolute must-see for any adventurer or nature lover. It's a place where you can truly connect with nature and experience the raw beauty of Canada. Well, there you have it, the 10 best places to visit in Canada. From the stunning Rocky Mountains to the charming streets of Quebec City, Canada has something for everyone. I hope this video inspired you to pack your bags and explore the incredible Great White North. Whether you're an adrenaline junkie, a history buff, or just looking for some breathtaking scenery, Canada won't disappoint. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more travel inspiration. See you in the next adventure.